Joe Rogan is the face of modern recovery. He's got ice baths, infrared saunas, kettlebells, TRT, stem cells, and about 1 million supplements. But here's what I want to ask. Is Joe's routine actually helping guys over 30 recover and perform better? Or is it a high performance illusion? Impressive from the outside, but unsustainable or even counterproductive for most people. I'm Michael Jones, fascia therapist, posture coach, and performance specialist. And today we're breaking down Joe Rogan's famous recovery routine. We're gonna look at what works, what doesn't work, and what regular guys should actually be doing instead. So come on, let's do it. All right, first things first, we're gonna talk about cold plunge, which is the most unused tool in recovery. Let's start with what everyone loves to brag about, these cold plunges. Joe plunges every morning around 34 to 40 degrees for 3 to 5 minutes. He said it builds resilience, wakes him up, and overall helps him with the overall inflammation process. But he's not wrong about cold exposure. It has been shown to, reduce perceived soreness, increase dopamine, trigger the vagus nerve activation for parasympathetic nervous system balance. But here's a trap most men don't know about. Using cold water immersion right after a strength workout can kill your muscle growth. So I'm about to get nerdy with you guys right now. And in 2015, a study in the Journal of Psychology found that cold plunging immediately after, let's say, a resistance or weight training reduces muscle fiber hypertrophy, inhibits anabolic signaling pathways, it blunts long-term strength. It's because post-exercise inflammation is a good thing. It signals your body to adapt and grow stronger. Cold plunges short circuits that signal. It's like putting out a campfire before it can kind of give away any heat. So what I would recommend instead, do cold plunges on your days off in the morning as like a mental resilience tool. Avoid cold therapy within 4 to 6 hours of strength training. And if your fascia is restricted, your posture's off, cold plunges won't fix that, that's for sure. You're just freezing your dysfunction in its place. So cold plunges are a tool. They're not exactly this magic fit that everyone, is going crazy over. I like sauna, which is the underrated power tool, when used right. Now, this one I love. Saunas, Joe does about 20 to 30 minutes around 180 degrees Fahrenheit after workout. And here's the deal. Saunas have clinically proven benefits. They increase heat shock proteins, they enhance circulation, they improve heart health, they even lower all causes of mortality. I'm gonna shout out to that Finnish study in 2018. But too much sauna can backfire if you are chronically stressed, sleep deprived, and obviously dehydrated. Sauna is a stressor. When you stack that on top of overtraining, poor nutrition, tight joints, your nervous system can absolutely just crash. So if you're a high performing guy who's inflamed, sleep deprived, and trying to sweat out the pain, you're likely just going to basically burn out your adrenals, and we don't want this. All right, so his next one is kettlebells, sleds, and these like mace bills. Is this functional or flawed? Rogan trains like a modern warrior. He has his kettlebells, his maces, his sled push, raw, primal, and functional. These tools build grip strength, rotational strength, reactive power, and they're great if you have a solid movement foundation, but here's the truth. No one says on podcasts. If your thoracic spine is locked, your hips are immobile, and your shoulder blades they don't glide smoothly, you're just swinging weight on top of dysfunction. So that's how so many guys end up strong but stiff, or fit but always in constant pain. Just look at the kettlebell guy. He has, zero scapular control, flared rib cage, no deep core engagement. His body is compensating the entire time. So, you want to fix the foundation, then layer on load. This is why in my practice, we really focus on decompression of fascia and correction the posture first. Then we build that reactive strength, not the other way around. All right. And another one he's really big on, Joe, is this TRT stem cells. Does it give you that performance edge or just like a pain cover up? Joe's been very open about using testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, or even getting stem cells treatments in Panama for injuries. Now, TRT can be life-changing for the right person with clinical systems and all the blood work to match. Stem cells, cutting edge, especially for damaged joints and discs. But here's the red flag. A lot of guys are looking to biohack their way out of poor movement, tight fascia, and all these bad habits. So let me tell you, if you're injecting hormones or stem cells without fixing the proper mechanics of your body, you're just putting high octane fuel in a car with a bent axle. True recovery starts with, fascia, mobility, and posture. It's not just with hormones. So what Rogan gets right, credit where credit is due. Joe is relentlessly consistent. He's built recovery into his lifestyle. He's trained smart, he varies his tools, he listens to his body. He's very curious and always learning. But here's what I want you to know. What Joe works, it works for Joe. Joe's life, his resources, and body isn't necessarily what works for you, especially if you're over 30, desk bound, already dealing with tightness and pain. You don't need to copy this entire system. You just need the right foundation, then adapt based on your body's real needs. It's just really plain and simple. So I say my final verdict and your next step. Joe Rogan's recovery team, genius? In parts, absolutely. But for the average man, especially if you're tight, stiff, burnt out, is an absolute trap. A distraction from, the basics that actually work. You don't need cryo tanks and stem cells. You need decompression, mobility, fascia work, and smart recovery habits. This is what I teach. I want you to click below and grab my mobility recess. This gives you the real foundation Joe is actually missing. You want to move better, feel younger, recover stronger and smarter without all the hype. So I want you to drop me a comment and tell me which celebrity routine that I should break down next. This is everyone's favorite health coach, Mike Jones, signing out. Have a pain-free day. Until next time.